Family, I just wanted to jump on here and give a shout out to people that you probably have not heard of, or people who have smaller platforms. We are throwing punches from every angle. We are not playing. We have put in that work. And this particular video, I went out to some people who have really done a lot in 2024 for FBA. Now, I'm not talking about our grassroots leaders who speak on the daily. I'm not talking about, even though we greatly appreciate them. You have your Phil Scotts, you have your Tariq Nasheed, you have Vicky Dillard, Demetra K, you have also even Umar. You have a lot of people that have a common goal, and that's freedmen first. They say black first, but we have gotten even more specific than that. Freedmen first, and the rest will follow. So we have those people out there, but I want to talk about everyday people in this particular video and give them their props, because I believe in giving people their flowers when they are here to hear them and receive them. So without further ado, let's jump into Chicago. Chicago has two different situations going on, or within the same area. You have the Tiffany Henyard, and then you also have Brandon Johnson. And Chicago is not playing with Brandon Johnson. They have had the whole foot up his tailpipe for over a year and some change now, and they are very vocal about it. But not only are they vocal about it, they are putting the pen to the paper. That is our weapon, you guys. The power of the pen. The pen writes laws. The pen legislates. The pen sends forth action. And when we start using the pen more, that's our action. That's our execution. So these people are not only talking about it, they're not only showing up for city council meetings and letting their gripes be known. They are also putting the pen to the paper. So let's listen to just a smidget of one of the ladies, and then the lady in the red hat in the back here that you see, she's also very vocal. But let's listen to this lady right here. I forgot her name, but you should know her.
We understand that you control the narrative that they are trying to speak about. So let me just say this to you. We're not listening to them the same way we're not listening to you. What you're doing is not okay. And let me just say this other thing. Emerson Park is still closed. And our mayor has decided that because we didn't support migrants coming to our park, we just ain't gonna have a park. I call foul, Mayor. You love to stand around and talk about how you're a black man. That's all you are, is a black man. And we know that all black folks ain't skin folks. And those...
Did you hear that? The truth is beautiful, like my grandma say. The truth is beautiful, children. The truth is beautiful. She said all skin folk and kinfolk. I did a video on that. Go check it out. Either earlier I think it was earlier 2024. Go check it out. But let's continue. There's more in Chicago.
Brandon Johnson have ignored every plea, call, cry. You're going to protect the undocumented while you're going to allow for the citizens in Chicago to suffer.
You ain't going to abide by what the president of the United States said. Everybody know better than that. Loser, get rid of the illegals.
Illinois is turning purple. We're going to turn red.
So I guess you heard that. Let's take it a little bit further and let's listen to some more Chicago residents. They were not playing. Okay?
You can talk to me?
So, Christmas is coming early this year. We're going to check that list when it go up on that wall for voting, and we're going to check it twice. And we're going to find out who's been naughty or nice based on how y'all vote. And we're going to start it off with Maria Hatton. Yeah.
Even our white counterparts. Look at this.
And they're sending all these people here. They don't want them there. They don't serve them a purpose. They're showing up here in New York, in Chicago, attacking people in the streets. The police are fighting with them in the shelters that you guys are funding. You guys think it's a great idea, but yet your police officers are getting attacked. Your public's getting attacked. You're putting our lives at risk by doing what you're doing, and none of you care about it because the mighty dollar sits on top. And
yes, he did. But anyway, don't want this video to be too long because we could watch this out. Okay? But we want to keep it short. The next person who I want to bring for attention, shout out to Oshay Jackson. I do watch a lot of his content. This particular video he had a few days ago, We know that there's hatred, especially for us, by everybody, and we're fighting everybody at this point. Well, Myron Gaines, I'm sure you have heard of him if you are in these social media streets. He is very disrespectful when it comes down to freedmen, foundational Black Americans. Very disrespectful. And he goes into other communities, joins in with them, and I want to call it black bash. They're black bashing us. And it's very disrespectful the way that he does it. So one of our brothers decided to do something about it. And Oshay Duke Jackson, he made the video. Let's check it out.
Me to a gentleman by the name of Mr. Arthur Watkins on Twitter. Arthur Watkins Jr. on X is a brother that is responsible for something called the American Freedmen Legal Fund. Now, if I'm not mistaken, the American Freedmen would most likely be the same thing as hashtag ADOS and hashtag FBA. What does the...
So I do want to make a quick correction on that. ADOS, you can be a part of it because that is an organization. FBA and freedmen are the same thing. Descendants of slaves or enslaved people. Descendants of slaves, and not just any slaves. We're talking about U.S. American slave trade, the U.S. Indigenous people, the U.S. So I just wanted to make a correction with ADOS. That's an organization. It has nothing to do with our lineage. It's for our lineage, but it's not specifically our lineage. Freedmen and FBA are the same thing. That's our lineage. It's no kind of organization or club or anything like that. So let's continue.
The American Freedmen Legal Fund do or try to achieve? Well, it says clearly, we seek to secure resources for covering essential expenses, advancing advocacy initiatives, and funding critical legal proceedings. Okay, well, what does that have to do with Myron? Well, this is what Arthur Watkins wanted to do against Myron Gaines. Remember those clips of Myron disrespecting Black people? Well, Arthur Watkins got tired of it, and he found a loophole in how to get Myron back. This all started December the 1st, 2024. Fighting back against Myron Gaines, defending American freedmen's rights and protecting intellectual property. The American Freedmen Legal Fund is taking a stand against Myron Gaines, founder of Fresh and Fit, who has been engaging in actions that not only undermine the rights of American freedmen, but also violate the intellectual property of major corporations such as Rockstar Games. Gaines has repeatedly used concepts, imagery, and branding tied to Rockstar Games without permission, incorporating them into his products and content to further his own commercial agenda. This isn't about protecting intellectual property. It's about defending the integrity and rights of American freedmen. Myron Gaines' actions, which include exploiting these properties for personal gain. His behavior has already led to bans and demonetization across various platforms, but the fight doesn't stop there. The American Freedmen Legal Fund is now stepping in by sending a formal letter to Rockstar Games to notify them of the violations and requesting they take legal action to protect their intellectual property. This move is a part of a broader effort to hold Myron Gaines accountable for his actions and to send a message that any exploitation of Black and freedmen culture for profit will not be tolerated. Well, who is Rockstar Games, and basically what do they create? Rockstar Games is a company that basically creates Grand Theft Auto, one of the most popular games in the history of video games. And what does that have to do with Myron? Well, if you look at this other post, you see on their Fresh and Fit podcast, they make themselves look like they're a part of GTA. It's very clear here. You can see here with Myron in the red coat. You can see with one of their guys here in the studio in the blue suit coat. There's the other guy from Haiti here, kind of the big guy, Big Mo. And then Chris, the producer. So basically, with all of the things that they are spewing online, they are making themselves with the imagery of GTA, which basically is saying, hey, we condone Fresh and Fit in what they do, and they're doing it without their consent. This is actually a very smart move.
That boy is good.
So what happened from that? Well, there was an update. It says this, update, the Rockstar imagery has been removed from Myron Games' timeline as of December 24th, 2024. Merry Christmas. Accountability enforced. Myron Gaines faces consequences for copyright violations and beyond. After a formal complaint from the American Freedmen Legal Fund, Rockstar Games has taken action against Myron Gaines, founder of Fresh and Fit, for unauthorized use of their intellectual property. As a result, all infringing content has been removed from his platforms. This is just one example of how we respond when individuals like Gaines engage in harmful rhetoric or attacks against American freedmen. Moving forward, if Myron Gaines continues to target American freedmen with base attacks, we will deploy additional tactics to hold him accountable in ways that address his broader misconduct. This latest victory is a reminder that actions have consequences, whether it's through defending intellectual property or countering harmful narratives. We are committing to fighting back strategically and effectively. The fight for justice continues. To those who seek to harm or exploit freedmen, take notice. Accountability is inevitable. Thank you for standing with us. Now, I was able to find out the American freedmen definition and who those people are. And again, I had an idea that this would be the case. There's actually a response to this that basically he said. He's responding to someone, and he says this: you might not fully grasp the concept of status. Freedmen include all of those from the FBA, Foundation of Black Americans, ADOS, American Descendants of Slavery, the Gullah Geechee, Creole, Black Cowboys, Black farmers, and Cajun communities who are descendants of American slavery up to emancipation. We do not identify as African.
So big up and great gratitude to Arthur Watkins Jr. He stood on business. I've reached out to him personally on Twitter or on X. You can do the same to donate if you want to look up his information. The credentials are right here, and also there's another link somewhere, but I'll put the link in there if you want to donate to this organization. You can actually do your research. I'm not telling you to donate, but I'm just saying if you want to bless and see what this organization is about, and if you want to bless him, just, maybe even send him just a blessing just for doing what he did, or at least letting him know that we see what you're doing, and we appreciate what you're doing. So I did reach out to him personally to thank him for standing on FBA business. We have to encourage one another. We have to push each other to keep going. You may not be a great speaker. You may not be able to speak in front of large crowds like our brothers and sisters in Chicago. You may not be able to publicly voice your opinion because of your job or whatever the case may be. But there are little things that you could do, such as what Brother Watkins did. And also there's another one, and I want to close out with that one. But there's another brother that I came across. Channel is called The Check-In Report. You can find him here. And he had a lot of good information as well. But this particular one, now we know what's going on with Fat Joe, the disrespect that he has said, not only what we heard of about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, but other things that he has said in the privacy of people who he thought was his people. Now there are all types of receipts coming out stating his anti-blackness that he's had all along. And again, we're the type of people who we let everybody in. We open up the door, tell them to take their shoes off and make themselves comfortable in our house. But anyway, this guy right here, the check-in report, what he did was I wrote letters to Fat Joe sponsors after his remarks. So he went in to all of the sponsors of Fat Joe and wrote them his disdain for Fat Joe and what he has done and said about foundational Black Americans, and how he wants to hear a response from these sponsors. And the very next couple of days, this is the email update. And so he lets you know what the responses were from the letters that he wrote. Very good things. I'm not going to even go into it because I want you to go and check him out for yourself. And also, this one is what he did a few days ago as well. And this one was Fat Joe will be performing at ABC. It was the ABC New Year's Rockin' Eve thing. And so he actually reached out to, I believe he's boycotting ABC right here. And he's advising that we all do the same. And he also put out the email addresses for ABC so we all can, write our little emails. If you don't feel like talking or doing anything else, you can send an email to these companies anytime. Anybody outside of us disrespect us, we have to let each other know, and then it's time to do action. We could talk about this stuff all day. And I'm really getting tired of hearing about Fat Joe's disrespect because we already have microphone check. Thanks to our brother Tyreek Nasheed, who got the founders, who got the ones who started, no question, it's undeniable. Even a lot of Latinos, they know. They've said it out of their own mouth. So with microphone check, we have our evidence, we have our documentation, we have our proof. And at this time, it's no longer relevant for us to argue with this man. We can now file an action suit. Lord Jamar tried to call everybody to the table to say, bring your proof, we have our proof, bring your proof, and we can settle this once for all. They didn't want to do that. So now that Tariq has put out microphone check, we now have a suit that we can bring forth, and we can shut all of this down. Enough talking about it. Now let's put some action and execution behind it, and let's drop some paperwork where we can shut this thing down. So we gotta shut this Fat Joe and anybody else who disrespects us. We have got to put in that work, and that work can be as simple as the power of the pen. Now, we don't have to write stuff out on pen and paper anymore. We now have emails. We now can unsubscribe. We now can withdraw our support, and we need to do that to a lot of people this year. Why not start the year off right? Anybody who is against us and not for us, you have to unsubscribe. You have to stop supporting them. You have to. And that goes for Vlad TV as well. Anyway, let me know your thoughts. Who do you know that is standing on business within FBA? I don't know. I can't watch everything. But who do you know? Have you seen an increase in tenacity? Have you seen a rejuvenation? Let me know what you think. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. May the Most High bless.